here to take questions, concerns. Hey, Joe, good morning. Whatever y'all have for us.
Jerry's up, you might don't stay here and listen.
Yeah, so one of the questions is about the sub. The subs had a question, are they getting the raise as well?
Yes.
Okay, does a $2 raise affected as of per hour as of November the 8th?
That's what we were told, yes.
Okay, and as a result of that, that has nothing to do with the shift differential.
Yeah, so the language that came out about shift differential is very confusing. So the infographic, and I know that Sean picked up some copies of this yesterday afternoon. There's an infographic that went out that showed what that looks like. So what they're talking about, the shift differential, a way to make that in very simple language, very plain language, is that everybody's getting a $2 an hour additional pay increase from beginning November the 8th, which was this past Monday, for every hour that they're on the job that they're transporting kids. So what that means is payroll will add those $2 to each hour. So if you work your normal 40-hour shift that week, then you get $2 extra per hour for every hour that you work during that particular time. And that's from now until the end of the year. It's my understanding that if you take, a sick day or you take something else off, you're not going to get that additional 2 hours because that's not time that you're actually on the job. Okay, the additional $2. That's correct. So, yeah, it's for. That's correct. It's for your 40. It's for your 40 hours that you work. And if you accrue any overtime, it calculates in that. It's an extra $2 on top of that as well for every hour that you work. It is. So if you work,
it says that.
If you do your overtime,
it says that.
I know, and that's why I'm saying that language. I'm trying to make it much more simple. I know. I don't disagree with you, and that's why I'm trying to make it as.
So everybody gets $2 raise.
You got it. It's $2 an hour. $2 an hour. But again, it's. That's the language that they're using. That's why I'm saying for every hour that you're on the job that you're working. If you take a day off or you are sick a day, then the extra $2 an hour we've been told doesn't apply because you're not physically at work for that day.
Can we get a revised edition and signed so that they can take this back?
Well,
say, wait a minute.
Be a signed MOU.
It's my understanding there is a signed MOU out from AFSCME. I haven't seen it.
It doesn't have the difference that you're stating.
Right.
Okay, I'll be happy to take that back and make sure that they're clear.
I don't think the wording is what is confusing. I think you guys changed your mind.
No, that's not what happened.
I think that's exactly what happened.
That's not what
Do
happened.
they really think $2 is going to bring new drivers and attendants in?
So this isn't a measure to bring folks in. This is a measure right now of something that they can enact immediately toward the end of the year. I can also tell you that AFSCME is negotiating with the board right now for what any pay difference or anything else will look like as of July the 1st. I can tell you that in the Office of Transportation, we've taken a number of packages specifically for drivers and attendants. And AFSCME, and I understand this, they're short in grounds, they're short in cafeteria workers, they're short in many other places. And they've said, we can't accept something just for drivers and attendants without looking at our whole unit. However, we are willing to do something right now. And so that's where this $2 per hour toward the end of the year comes in. Okay, so that's why it says in that infographic and in the other places that it's through, I believe it's June the 13th.
To the end of the school year.
To the end of the school year. That comes into play.
And this came behind Baltimore County putting this out. This didn't come behind the union putting it out. The union is still in contract negotiations. So the union is still trying to go forward with higher wages for our hourly people.
That's correct.
Okay,
that's
so just to get
correct.
that clear.
For a living wage.
Yeah, so also with the bonus. The bonus is what, $500 in December and $500 in June.
Yes.
So the union is also pushing forward for a higher bonus. So just to let you know, the union is also looking to have a meeting at your school in the near future on a Saturday So my other question is, why are we having a meeting in the middle of the day while we are actively working and nobody can participate to hear and ask questions? Why isn't the county subject to have a meeting where everybody is eligible to participate so you can ask these questions and answers like we're doing now? This is just a small group. This is not the percentage of the people. And by the time you tell me one thing, and by the time he tell me another thing and another thing, you know how that goes.
Yep.
So why is it that the county is not presenting themselves in the position where everybody can be involved? So we can get something. You can have something at a school, at Essex Community College, so we can be educated on exactly what the county is doing.
And I think it's a great question. I could certainly work with Mr. Epps and Mr. Clark from AFSCME to schedule something like that. I don't have any problem doing that.
Okay, because I mean, we need to walk at the people. This is why people are insulted by exactly what the county has done there by throwing them a carrot, which is a pacifier compared to what the other counties got. You got larger counties.
So let's be clear on that. The larger counties have not gotten things that.
Well, we know it's a proposal.
Okay, so in Anne Arundel County, the $5 that they proposed is completely off the table.
I say it's a proposal.
It's completely off the table now. I'm going to tell you, it's not happening. They're going for a one-time bonus because they calculated the money, and at $7.2 million a year, no one will fund it in Anne Arundel County. So I'm just letting you know.
Okay, great.
So they're doing a they're now proposing, they backed off on that, and they're now proposing a one-time bonus down there and a restructure. Now remember, they are almost entirely contracted employees.
We understood that. I tried to explain that they
Yeah.
probably don't
That's
have
a different-
pensions,
that's a big
and they
difference.
probably don't have health care the same as we do.
That's correct.
So the other question is, what is the entry level for a new hire as far as the wages?
So the entry level still sits at $16.69, and then they would get the $2 per hour increase as well.
Okay.
And I know that that's something that AFSCME is looking at. I know that the county's looking at that. I also know that as the starting wage and the maintaining wage of our substitute drivers has been an issue as well too. So that's something that I know that our side in terms of management is looking at, and AFSCME is looking to negotiate on that too.
So
I'm not in disagreement with you. It needs to be
okay.
higher. I'll go on record to say that. I absolutely
So,
agree.
I mean, with all the cost of living that's going up,
Mhm.
and we're looking at the wages of our salary currently now,
Yep.
and you could just take the average thing, BG&E, water bill, car payment, insurance, nobody can live off of that.
Yep.
So if you're going to bring something up to speed, you have to bring it up to speed
Mhm.
so it make it lucrative,
Mhm.
so people will be attracted to the job.
Agreed.
Otherwise, it's still an insult to the drivers that's working there because we're getting overloaded,
Mhm.
and $2 is a carrot.
Mhm.
Okay, so basically, I know contract negotiations are currently still going on,
Mhm.
but we don't know what the bottom line is until after July 1st. But think about it on the behalf of Baltimore County. If you want people here to stay
Mhm.
and you want to be attracted to them, they just as much say, look, the junior people just started. If I'm going somewhere else, man, and making $25 an hour, why would I stay with Baltimore County? Okay, because 9 times out of 10, I'm a senior person. Yeah, healthcare means something to me.
Yep.
But a younger person, like, hey, I'm gone.
Yeah.
Because I don't need healthcare as much as I don't have a family. So you have to really take those things into consideration.
Yeah.
Okay, part 2, how many drivers do we actually have for Baltimore County? What's the number?
I want to say it's somewhere before substitutes. It's just under 600.
600.
Just before subs.
And how
It's
about-
like high fives.
570 something.
Yeah, it's high fives.
And what about attendance?
Honestly, I couldn't quote that number off the top of my
Right.
head.
But see, that's one thing.
Yeah, I
Another
could
thing
quote
with
that
the
number.
pay, okay? It's not just the pay. When I came on 4 years ago, I was told I'm guaranteed 40 hours a week. Okay, well, we're not getting 40 hours a week. We're losing a lot of the holidays. We're losing professional development days. There was 2 Jewish holidays. They were taken away. We don't get paid. So that also, I think, could be corrected where we're going with days like me. I come to work every day. So when I get that pay and I'm short, every pay these
When we're
days,
10-month employees.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you're taking
So, I mean,
out
that
of the
would
40.
help with the $2 an hour.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I agree, and that's why on those professional development days, we've been trying to offer
Yeah.
a minimum of 4 for folks to come in and work.
Then we have spring break,
on
winter
those
break.
days. Exactly, and
You know-
one of the and I know that this does not.
No, because they're talking professional development days. You only get 3 of that.
I
So,
agree, and I know that this doesn't help the situation, but we've also gotten the feedback from some drivers that they would be willing to cash in or sell back some of their personal days or some of their sick days. or
I've
those
always,
kind of
because I have a
things.
lot of it because
Yeah.
I don't,
And
other than
we've-
having COVID, I've been to
we've-
work.
we've-
So I'm like, why can't I use my time that I've
We've-
earned? Because I don't call out, I come to work.
We've pitched those ideas as well, because during those breaks, if you can trade in some of that time and get paid, because that is time that is unpaid for you, that's something we're looking at. Yep. So the teachers can't cash anything in, but they're paid over spring break. They're paid over winter break. They get those days are calculated into their salary, so their pay remains consistent because they're salaried employees over those times. So they continue to get paid over their 10 months on a bi-weekly schedule because of their salary.
Well, yeah.
Whereas our drivers in
closed,
attendance
we
and
should
our
get paid.
cafeteria workers
Period.
don't. Because they're 10-month AFSCME employees.
Okay,
so that's something that we put in, and we've heard that same feedback. So no, the teachers can't sell it back, but they get compensated over those days. They get compensated for those professional development days too, because they're expected to work during those days.
How about the time before you cleaning the bus and your pre-trip in your bus? How much time should you be getting there?
So you should be getting 15 minutes on the front end and 15 minutes on the back end of your time every day.
So, half an hour a day.
You should be. Yes.
That doesn't happen.
What?
You're not.
I've
getting-
only been doing 15 minutes a day. Do you know how
15
much
minutes a day.
overtime I could calculate at this point now? Jesus.
Okay, it should be half an hour a day. That's correct. 15 before and 15 after.
So that should be taken off your time. Your standby time. Half hour should be taken off your standby time.
It depends how they put it, because I know standby time's at a premium nowadays. I know standby time for a lot of folks has evaporated under the conditions that we have. As part of the 40-hour schedule, we
He just said it.
buffered in 2 hours to the weekly schedules and standby time, and that's evaporated under the current
You
conditions.
brought a good point up. We 10-month employees. Most of us work during the summer. And because we work during the summer to help out, how come we're not getting the benefits that the teachers getting? Why are the ones that are not working the summer still getting paid on a salary basis because we're a 40-hour employee? Because it also affects us when we get ready to go to pension, when we get ready to retire. So that puts us in down the bottom. Is it still a situation where we have to make up 2 months towards our pension when we get ready to retire?
So you don't.
We need that in black and white.
What's that? So that is something honestly that you got to work with your union around, and here's why. Because I can tell you the state retirement system, which is what the teachers are in,
In attendance.
they're in a 10-month cycle, but that counts as a full year for them because of their work schedule. So that counts as a full unit of time for them in their system. I'm not sure if Baltimore County for the drivers calculate
We
that
taking the
different.
students to the teachers.
Sure.
Why are we being treated different? That's the kicker right there. I mean, it shouldn't be an issue where when we get ready to retire, we got to talk about this 2-month situation. And it shouldn't be an issue that all the time we work should be applicable to our pension. Summertime, weekends, holidays, whatever.
So the summertime is not calculated in the teacher's time either. So whether or not they work the summer doesn't calculate extra into their time. So I can tell you that. So summer
our
employment-
salary, which doesn't go up.
Well, it's not a
with
salary; it's an hourly rate
for us, but for them it's a salary.
That's correct.
So you're
That's
saying as of June 13th, we lose that additional $2 an hour even though we're working? Because I work all year long.
Yep. So the
Over
way
30 years I've been working a paycheck every 2 weeks.
So the agreement, the way that it's written now for the $2 an hour, is through the end of this school year.
Not meaning summer school.
That's right. But the intention, I believe, is that because of negotiations are happening with AFSCME, any pay raise or any pay change would be effective July the 1st, which would be the start of the summer programs. I know a few start, and those of you that do non-pubs, you're still running through the end of June. But that's the intent. The intent of this was to move through the end of the school year while negotiations are still underway with AFSCME, and that there would be something in place for the beginning of next year.
So-
Everyone recognized something needed to be done now and needed to be done immediately. So this was the measure that AFSCME and the board and the superintendent and the county executive, quite frankly, thought was a fair way to put different incentives in place. So, you've got a I'll call it a retention bonus that, if you're here and you're working, as was indicated,
Exactly how much is that?
it's $500 payable in December and another $500 payable in June.
I thought that was our bonus. I mean, for the perfect attendance.
So the attendance incentive, I honestly, I'm not sure what
Especially
figure.
50 a month is what they said.
I'm not
That's
sure
I
what
heard.
figure they landed on. I've heard 2 different figures, and I don't want to tell you something that's not true.
Yeah, but if you take a sick day, you make more than that. $50.
And-
That's cheap. $50. Come on. Let's get a good $50.
I think the intention was for those folks that are coming every day, that said I come every day and I come every day regardless, and I show up and do my work, that the county is going to recognize that with something. And then it was the $2 pay increase an hour. And then for new candidates, they're trying to remove some of the pre-employment obstacles that everybody has in terms of fingerprinting costs, and if you're prescribed a sleep apnea test, or some of those types of issues.
Can I get clarification on the incentive plan was brought forth by Baltimore County and the board, not the union?
Both together. The
So
union's
then-
been in contact with the board and the county executive.
So when they announced the incentive plan, why did they not use the term $2 hourly raise?
I absolutely can't answer your question because the term shift
You
differential.
understand
I
why
do.
everybody's so
I
upset
completely
because
do.
they come at us
Shift
with,
differential.
oh, you're only going to get $2 an hour extra if you work extra.
I hear
So
what you're saying.
now we've gone and changed it, and you understand why we're at this point because everybody, it was not clear twice in a row.
I think the language shift differential is where the problem lies.
Well, if you look back at both speeches, and
I got you.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest with everybody here. I didn't see anything in writing. We've been all asking, can we see it in writing? I know that your union folks have been saying, can we see in writing what this looks like? Because it is important that we are clear. I'm telling you, you can record me saying it. It's $2 per hour for every hour.
Once that paper came out, I
for every
realized
hour that you're working, that you're here working.
Once that paper came out,
That's right.
I realized that.
That's right.
But
the term
everybody was
shift
already
differential-
upset.
I got it. I'm clear. I'm
Can
absolutely
I just
clear.
throw something in as an
Please.
attendant?
Yeah.
Right before last month, this four-year increase, I was living on $1,200 a month. That's what I'm living on.
Yeah.
It's not a living wage. That's what I'm making.
I don't disagree. And when you
make a living
and we all know, during the pandemic, when you can go to Chick-fil-A and
McDonald's
you
is
can
starting higher than
McDonald's
I'm
and you
making.
can make $15-16 right off. And I'm going to tell you, we recognize it too, right? With the holidays coming and a shortage of labor, we're going to see the rates increase even more at some of these folks. And it's no, we see it as well. Right down the street here, you've got a huge Amazon facility, and they're dying for drivers and for
Starting at
folks.
$17.50.
And starting, so I get
Now
it.
18.
And we recognize that, and we recognize how hard all of you have been working. Your commitment to kids, I mean, you all do this not because you get paid a lot, but because you love kids.
Yeah.
Or because you've been doing it a long time. And as much as
But
they
it's
might
not
drive
enough.
you crazy, you all wouldn't do it if you didn't love children.
There's
So-
not enough people to supply the demand of bus
I got
drivers
it.
with people that just like kids and are here for not the money.
Last year, all school year, we started August 15th, last summer. We worked straight through the whole school year. The county got this bulk money for hazardous pay. Wouldn't that have considered us working all school year? A lot of people were off.
I have no idea anything
Like
about
we're
hazard
off.
pay or hazardous pay. I'm not sure what you're referring to there. You talking about Baltimore County government?
Yeah, no, the county.
The county,
They got-
Baltimore County government.
They got money for hazardous pay. They
Who-
were ready to
who-
pay
who-
people to hazardous pay to clean
Who
buses.
got hazardous? I'm not sure I'm familiar with the term hazardous.
The government gave Baltimore County.
Hazardous.
The federal government
Yeah,
gave
them
Baltimore
a
County.
bulk sum of money. We're on the buses with kids. Okay, there's people doing lunch runs.
I thought
We're working the whole
turn
school
this
year.
thing off in school.
But you're gonna put it
fix
out
it
there,
for
hey,
you?
you wanna come clean buses and get hazardous?
All right.
Really? What about the
Oh, I
ones
didn't
that
No,
are
you can turn
on
the
bus
notifications
all
off
year?
for
We
just
don't
that
get
one ad,
that.
and then you won't hear it.
Stay off till March. We started working August 15th last year, and this year we started August 13th. But and what did we get? You get run time until the county comes in. We had a kid with COVID. You know what they told us? You don't have to get tested, you'll be all right.
Health Services told you that?
Really?
Health Services.
No, office.
Well, Health Services told
So
me
guess
I could
what?
go in too.
Guess
so.
what? We took the day off and went and got tested ourselves. Said, sorry, I'm sorry, we go home to family.
Right.
You know? We're doing our job, but we're not getting nothing out of it.
I got in trouble for telling my parents I had COVID.
Or they send out a letter. Somebody on this line has COVID. They send out a letter. You were not in contact. How do you know I wasn't in contact with this person? I saw a girl down at Walmart, and she said, Karen, I can't come back to work till after my test results come back. I said, what's the matter? She said, I was exposed to COVID. I said, really? Get back to work for the afternoon. There's the letter. You were not. How do you know? I saw her.
So that's a determination that Health Services makes as part of their contact tracing with the county health department.
Right, that's
Right.
fine. But
Yeah.
you don't know who I was in contact
I
with.
understand. I just know that they have a procedure and process that they tell us is what they use to make those
Yeah,
determinations.
Yeah, but still,
I understand your concern. I do. I
you
understand.
know,
I have,
there's Pete. There she goes. It was
I have a question.
Sure.
Going beyond the payroll, okay?
Yeah.
Yes, we all do need to get a higher increase, both bus drivers, attendants, even office people. They've been really stressed out, all of us, okay? But one of my concerns, I'm sure some other people, is if we get higher increases in salary, as didn't happen before, they start taking away from the benefits. In other words, you have to pay higher premiums, or they cover, like right now, my $20 copay is now $25
Right,
copay.
right.
And if they start taking away some of these things where we have
Yeah.
to pay more out of pocket, those
Sure.
raises are,
So I do know. The open enrollment book is out, and
Yep.
and that piece is out. So I would encourage you to take a look at it because those rates are locked in for next year already, and I believe that that most, and I read through it very quickly. I believe most, if not all, the copays and things remain the same from this year to next year. So I would encourage you to take a look at that and what plan that you have. I think you raise an excellent
I'm not
point.
so concerned about the plan we have right
Yeah.
now. It's like, okay,
Sure.
now we're forking out all
Yep.
this money to pay higher salaries.
Yep.
We need to have a
Sure.
medium here,
Sure.
and then you start taking from our benefits.
Yeah.
That's my concern.
And I
in the future, not just this year.
And I think that's a valid concern, and that's one you want to make sure that your representatives from AFSCME are aware of too as they go through negotiations, because part of what they negotiate on your behalf are some of those benefits. So I think you raise a great point, that's one thing the county has been known to do over the years, right?
Well, not just in county, a lot of companies.
Or change
Right.
the carriers, or change the the providers, or what have you. Yeah. Good points.
I'm not sure if this was brought up already, but
Sure.
so we're not getting paid. If I get sick with COVID, we're not getting paid for leave for being sick.
So if you if health services puts forgive the term, puts you out. If health services says you need to be in quarantine or says you need to be out, they have the ability to designate that it's not your time. If something else occurs, they have the ability to make that determination with through risk management and through the Office of Leaves. Okay, if my son were exposed or I had to stay home or something happened and
Oh, like quarantine.
that's
We're not
right,
getting
and it
paid.
happened and they said, well, you're a risk, then it would have to come out of my time.
Oh,
So
That's
what if it
right.
already came out of your time?
So
Health services
so-
said stay home.
So again, they
I have to contact them.
if they tell you that this is they're telling you
Mm-hmm.
must do this because it's a work related or it's
So
or
I have to
you
let work
do it.
know that.
They will
They did,
contact
but it took it out of my paycheck.
Health Services is the one that will make the determination with leaves and benefits of whether it's a case where you would use your time or not use your time. We don't make that determination. In some cases
They
say,
told me not to come in because I had COVID.
Well, wouldn't that
It's
be
pretty
considered
cut and
workman's
dry.
comp?
It's, I get what you're saying
But
about
it
the
depends.
family.
They make an assessment, and I don't even know all the things that they do to make the assessment. Part of it's
Right.
through their contact tracing. Part of it is through, I think they make a determination of where.
You think they should have sent the determination? I don't think they ever even made a decision. Is
Okay.
kind of where I'm now
I
feel
understand what you're
like
saying.
like nothing.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
So now I had to
But
go
that's
check
how
on it. Okay.
they make that determination as to whether it's time that be your time or not your time.
But I never got any paper that said you were using it or
But if a
not.
bus driver or attendant,
That's not right.
I'm sorry,
That's not right. We're hearing
contacts
every day.
COVID from a student on a bus,
There's like 5 different, probably I could name probably 8 different kids have got COVID on my bus. I have
So-
a extended.
I agree.
I have 60 plus kids every stop, every school. And it's COVID cases over and over, so I'm exposed to it every day, and I can't have guaranteed paid time off when I'm healing myself for working. And
I would
getting
think that would
exposed to
fall
it.
under
Like,
workman's
that's not-
comp, you would think, right?
That right there is sad.
yeah.
That's not okay.
And again, I understand your concern. Health Services makes that determination with the health department.
Okay.
I get where you're coming from, and I get, we've got attendants and drivers that, children are spitting on them and scratching them and everything else. I got it. I know Health Services is aware of that, and they make
That's
these
not the-
determinations.
Where is health
Okay, that's a
services?
little confusing here.
Like,
Where is Health Services? I think they're still in the Jefferson building downtown.
Downtown Taos.
Okay, I'm a little confused about this. If you're on a bus, whether you're a driver or an attendant, and you have students that come on your bus with the COVID and exposes you, so you test positive, so now you got to stay home. That's something that happened on a job. Why would health services have to determine whether or not we get workman's comp?
And again, I don't believe they judge that as workman's compensation. I believe
But it
they.
happened on a job.
I understand that, but I don't think that they judge it as workman's compensation. I think they make a determination whether your leave comes out of their bucket of COVID leave or whether it comes out of
Well, we're
your
talking
personal
we're
leave.
talking Baltimore County.
I
Baltimore
understand-
County should then pay workman's comp because it's.
I understand, but they don't classify COVID as workman's compensation.
If they
is
did
what I'm
that,
saying.
Mickey, then if you caught the flu from a child, then you'd.
Right.
Oh, that's
They
true.
don't-
That's
They
true.
don't. They don't compensate that as workman's comp. And I understand where you're coming from, but that's where the conversations with health services around what happened and whatever contact
You brought a
tracing.
good point
they're
up.
doing is-
Yeah.
You got a question?
Sorry, I came in later.
Sure.
My question is, if Anne Arundel County, Calvert County, and all them got about an hour more, an hour raise, how come we didn't at least something, at least? That's
So,
crazy.
so to be clear, and I did touch on this earlier, Anne Arundel County did not get a $5.
Well, it's in the making now.
It is not in the making. It's off the table.
They done cleared
They're not because they
I wasn't here for that.
they calculated the price tag. It's at $7.2 million a year as a recurring fee.
But they're getting something though.
They,
We're getting
they
something.
you're getting
But you have to
$2.
work over.
No, you don't have to work over.
Oh, so now they changed that
No,
again.
they didn't change that. That's how it
That's
was.
what
It
you
wasn't
said.
clear
They did.
when they used the language shift
believe that for
differential. I'll be
one
happy to
second.
talk. We did talk about this. I'll be happy
came in on
to.
the-
That's fine, and I'll be happy to explain it. But for every hour that you work on the bus transporting children, you're going to get that 2 hour additional $2 per hour additional pay.
So
So
40
now
hours
through the
every
end of the year, so it'll be 40 hours every week. that you get that. So if you took a sick day or something like that, it wouldn't calculate it, I've been told.
You know
but it
that in
will
our
be-
contract, shift differential means if you work evenings or weekends, that's
I'm-
where they screwed us up.
I'm absolutely clear that the language that they use.
Are they going to
was
put
not-
something else out?
That was a
Correct.
recommendation that was made earlier. And
Correct language?
Mr. Pillow
Just-
and I will take that back and say,
Good.
please make sure that you clarify
Yeah,
this.
because that
I-
shift differential very specifically in the
I-
contract means evening
I-
work after 5 and weekends.
I understand, and that is not the case.
So you're going to print something else to make everybody understand.
It's
We
on
will-
the
we will-
bathroom door.
We will strongly suggest
Yeah,
that
yeah.
is clarified. Absolutely and 100%. And it accounts for any additional overtime that you do. That
Right.
that $2 will be counted in there in your time and a half.
So it's a
time and
raise.
half
And
plus
new
$2.
hires.
It's a raise.
And new hires will get it too.
New hires, substitutes, it accounts to everybody. Your routing assistants, your
Oh,
dispatchers.
substitutes also?
Yep.
Subs also get
Yes.
tips?
Everybody. $2 as long as you're with transporting children that day, you're in good shape. It counts for your standby time, it's your 40 hours. As long as you're on
a
It's to hold us over while they renegotiate the 21 time. Yeah, yeah.
But
But they didn't make that clear.
To go back to your question, they're looking at a one-time bonus for anyone.